wanted. They did not want this series to last more than 4 games, and they blew that first one, being up by not blew the first one, the second one they blew it being up by 31 points, and let the Clippers come back and win that game. And now you got the nightmare scenario. You got Boogie hurt, you got DeMarcus Cousins hurt, and you could possibly be going 6 games with the LA Clippers. And then if the Rockets take care of business with the Jazz, and now they're the ones that's sitting there waiting in the second round for the Warriors to finish up their series, that's the last thing that they want. You don't want to be finishing up a long series to follow it up with a team like Houston that gave you everything that you could handle and was mere, 2 quarters away from getting to the NBA Finals. So the Warriors needs to come up with some type of plan. I don't know what the plan is. Trust me, if I knew it, I would tell them what it is. Now charge them, but I would tell them what it is to figure this thing out. They do got Andrew Bogut that they signed, but he is not a guy that's going to give you the minutes that DeMarcus Cousins or the production that DeMarcus Cousins was giving them. So this is going to be by committee. And this is the guys like Jordan Bell. These are the guys like Looney. These are the guys like Quinn Cook, that's going to be stepping in, because guys like Sean Livingston, they don't have those, and as crazy it may sound, but they don't have the JaVale McGee's, on their team to step up, for them or give them something. They don't have a guy like David West like they had before, where he could step up, give them something. And it's going to be a test. I still think, they're going to beat the Clippers. I thought they would sweep them, but that's not going to happen. But, hey, that's why they play the game. You got an opportunity. Let's see what you do, with that opportunity. And the opportunity that we got right now, we're going to take another break. And then when we come back from the break, we'll get into Anthony Davis and David Griffin. He got some words for Anthony Davis. And I'm going to go through the NFL schedule that just got released. Actually, not even 2 hours ago at this point. And we'll discuss those key games that's on there. And we'll do the Big L Award. So you don't want to miss that. So the Wait a Minute show, your man Jelani JB Bodie will be back after these words.
We don't take orders from super fools. We give them.
X-Go, give it to you.
Any and all resistance will crumble. Nonsense. There's never been a threat
Squad
couldn't handle. It is the purpose of the
Squad
to align our infamous forces against the powers of good and defeat them, leaving us, the rulers of the world.
All music artists, lend me your ear. Looking for that hot beat to make your next hit? Go to FaroJaroMusic.com. Tired of paying for overpriced studio time for mediocre beats? Go to FaroJaroMusic.com. FaroJaroMusic.com offers industry quality hip-hop, trap, R&B, and pop beats that will take your creativity to the next level. We know it's hard to find dope beats out there, so don't waste any more time searching YouTube or whack beat selling websites. Go to FaroJaroMusic.com today to cop the beat for your next hit. Mixing and mastering services available too. Once again, go to FaroJaroMusic.com. That's FaroJaRO Music.com for the hottest beats in the game.
Squad Network, the future of radio.
Yo, what's good? This is Trey Frazier. This is the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Make sure y'all tune into us every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time.
He's the brain of operations.
I'm telling you right now, book it.
And him, he's along for the ride. But together, they bring you sports like you've never heard before. The Wait a Minute Show, a new way of discussing today's trending sports topics. And now, back to the show with your host, Jolani J.B. Bodie.
Indeed as well, Lopan. So yes, we are coming back from the break and you listen to the Wait a Minute show. Don't forget xsquadaffiliates.com/contest where you can enter yourself in to win $100. So xsquadaffiliates.com/contest. Just that simple. Follow the rules and enter yourself in the contest. So we're going to stay in basketball, and I was talking about before the break David Griffin. And David Griffin, who has signed on with the New Orleans Pelicans, and he replaced Dale Demps there. And he was doing his introductory press conference, and obviously, the talk of Anthony Davis was going to pop up. That was going to come up. And David Griffin spoke about this, and he basically was saying that he's hoping that they can keep Anthony Davis here, and that he had spoken, with him. I don't know what exactly was said to Anthony Davis, but I'm sure it was along the likes of, hey, we need to sit down, we need to talk before you do anything. He want his shot, to keep, AD there. So, do you think David Griffin could keep Anthony Davis there? And here's the thing, as far as like what David Griffin is, fighting against. And he's familiar with what he's fighting against because he was the former general manager in Cleveland while LeBron was there. He was the guy that got credit for organizing that team that won an NBA championship. So now he has Anthony Davis sitting at the table in the front with, as the franchise player, but he is battling LeBron. This is normally both of them on the same page, but now this is one versus the other. And when I say LeBron, I'm really just talking about, I'm sure LeBron's been talking to Anthony Davis. I'm sure the LA Lakers would love to have, and anybody would love to have Anthony Davis at this point. But when I say LeBron, they got the same agent, for one. So I don't know if there's any violation, as far as like your agent, talking about that across clients. But we all know, that this wasn't something that Anthony Davis just came up with himself and just said, you know what, trade me. I want to go here. I want to do all this stuff, So that is what David Griffin is up against. If there is someone that could keep him there, it would be David Griffin. And I think the biggest thing that David Griffin have going for himself is that he's been in this situation before. Cleveland was not a market where guys were just running and lining up with their hands in the air saying, hey, pick me, bring me to Cleveland. They had to do a lot of recruiting. They had to do trading, and that's what I'm saying, that David Griffin is used to that. And Anthony Davis, he's seen what David Griffin did. And of course, they had LeBron. That plays a big part in the equation. So don't get me wrong, but he is basically telling Anthony Davis, you are our LeBron. You are our difference maker. You stay here. You let me work my magic. I can get you the people that you need to help this team win and help this team be relevant. They had some nice success last year in the playoffs. They took out the Portland Trailblazers, but obviously reality set in that second round, and they were bounced out. So with David Griffin and the moves that he possibly could make, could change the whole dynamic, of the team. And I wouldn't rule it out, because it's not like they went and got a former player who hasn't had any coaching, hasn't had any general manager experience or anything like that. And then you're just saying, we're going to go with this face and see what we can do about it. So that's not David Griffin. David Griffin is respected very well in NBA circles, and he is to be taken seriously. And I think he will do the necessary moves or make the necessary moves to make it a very, very hard decision. Now, Anthony Davis still got 1 year left in his contract, so I don't think David Griffin is going to oblige him at all with a trade unless it is something that just blows his socks off and that he can't turn down. Plain and simple. So I think Anthony Davis, he'll be playing in New Orleans at least for one more year. But then that's a year that David Griffin has a chance to talk to him. That's a year that David Griffin has a chance to change this team and to show AD, Anthony Davis, the brow, however way you want to call him, that this is where we're going. And you can be credited for leading the charge, on it. So I'm not going to rule out that he wouldn't, that is just a foregone conclusion that he's going to be gone. Anything is possible, at this point. Because Anthony Davis isn't a guy that comes across to me as, stuck up, bougie, whatever you want to call it. I just don't, I don't see that, from him. So I think they do have a chance right now. I think with Dell Demps and some of the moves that they made and some of the guys that drafted, excuse me, or traded for, some of them haven't played out or panned out, I should say. And it's no different than anything else. If you got a player and the job is not getting done, just depending on who it is, they're going to get rid of that player. So it's kind of the same thing, that players look at it. If the execs are not getting the job done, then we need to get somebody else, in there. So it cost Dell Demps his job. We'll see. David Griffin could be the perfect solution for them. He just got to get the players. If you get the players, Anthony Davis is not going anywhere. He's not going to go anywhere at all. So I give him a shot. I give him a better shot than probably any other NFL, than any other NBA exec. So this decision won't be made until next year. Again, it's going to have to be something that blows David Griffin's socks off for him to go ahead and trade Anthony Davis, so which I don't think is going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about basketball, so we got to get back into football. I told you we're going to go through the NFL schedule release. We're not going through everything, but just some things that would probably catch my eye. I have not went through the schedule. I have heard some of the matchups, but I really haven't went through the schedule because I just thought it would be better for my initial reaction to how the schedule is made up and just some of the key matchups that are scheduled for the 2019 season of the NFL. Again, they did an excellent job as far as like making themselves known or relevant in the world of the NBA right now, because we know the NBA is running the month of April and May and parts of June as well. So the NFL set. Let me slide in there for a second. Let me do a little second, then I'll go ahead and get out your way. So first thing we're going to talk about is the Monday Night Football games. There are some Monday Night Football games that I think are going to be some games that you want to check out. Week 1 is definitely one, the Texans versus the Saints. That's going to be a doubleheader. Actually, following them is going to be the Broncos and the Raiders. So I'm kind of surprised they're doing the Broncos and Raiders as the later game. So no, I take that back. That's exactly probably how it should go, because you don't want to flip flop that. And you wouldn't anyway, because neither one of the team play in the Western Conference or on the Western side of the United States to justify that. But you'll get a chance to see, Joe Flacco, for the first time, see, what he does for this team. Another game, and I'm looking through here again. I'm going through this as we speak. The Browns have 4 primetime games that's going to be coming out, so that is expected as well. But the Browns at the Jets, so you got it, the number 1 overall draft pick, but the first quarterback taken going against the second quarterback taken in that same draft. So they're going to have a nice matchup there. You got Le'Veon Bell, you got Odell Beckham, you got Jarvis Landry. You got some, guys all over that place that you can definitely keep an eye on and be like, well, what's going to go on with these two. So that should be an interesting game.